Turn the lights back on. Wow. Retro electro tech. When real audio ruled the world.
Greetings once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Retro Ernest of Retro Electro Tech. On the bench again is the Marantz 4300 quadraphonic receiver that I've been working on off and on for the last few weeks or so. I've been waiting for some parts. I got some in. I'm waiting for some more, and I yet have a few more parts I'm going to have to order because of some more issues I encountered, which is the purpose of this video. I'm going into another customer update, letting the customer know kind of what's going on, what the status is. Some of you that like to peek on in just to see what's going on, feel free to follow along, but otherwise this is primarily a customer update video. Now, I got everything reassembled in the front here, all of this front chassis area, this whole assembly that I had pulled off. And as you may recall, all of the controls were just dangling in the wind, all of the potentiometers, VRs, switches, and all that. Well, everything's back together now. Pardon me, I had to swap out the battery. I started this video with a old battery in the camera. I forgot to throw in a new one. But anyways, what I was saying is, yeah, if you're going to do servicing of controls in this Marantz 4300, it's rather involved if you're going to get deeper into it. Again, you have to really pull everything apart, get everything disassembled on this front end here to gain access to the controls so you can really get them serviced properly. And like I said before in the previous video, there were three switches, those push button switches, two of the speaker switches and the high filter switch that were intermittent, problematic. So those are sealed switches, as a lot of you know, and so I had to gain access into the bodies of the switches by drilling very carefully, some little access holes using like one of those pin vices or little Archimedes type drills. You don't want to use a power drill and go in gangbusters and ruin the internals of a switch, so you have to be very gingerly when you do that. But I got those switches all flushed out, the appropriate lubricant reintroduced in those problematic switches. So all of the controls have been serviced otherwise. All of the VRs, selector switches, potentiometers, that's why everything was pulled apart and everything was dangling in the wind. So quite involved, but when you're going into that level of control servicing, it's just got to be done. And also too, the only thing I'm waiting for otherwise are the lamps. When I ordered them, the gentleman that I order a lot of my lamps from was out of town apparently, and the order got out late. I was hoping I would have had the lamps installed already, but yeah, it is what it is. Nothing I could do about it. And other than that, I got the AM antenna installed here. The customer's original antenna that was on here busted off, and I got everything installed, the wiring soldered in and all that, so that's all done. I got it all cleaned out as well. There's a lot of crap in here that I had to get cleaned up in here, so that's done. The only issue that I came across that turned out to be a bigger issue, and the reason why it turned out to be a bigger issue is because of access. And I'm going to pan on down here and sort of zoom in here. This is just the amp board for the right channel, and that has nothing to do with what I'm going to be getting into here, well, per se. But the speaker board here, the relay board, I had to pull it out because when I first took this receiver in, and I forgot to mention this, one of the covers on one of the relays was missing. So, of course, 2 and 2 is 4. I assume that, well, somebody was in here doing something. What? I don't know. But my plan was at some point to, of course, check the relay contacts, kind of take a look at their health, because that's kind of par for the course. That's something you just do, because relays, well, they're important. You want to make sure the contacts are clean and not pitted to death. And all that. So I started with the one that was just, without a cover. And it turns out, well, yeah, the contacts were, you know, tarnished up and all that. So I cleaned the contacts and everything was looking good there. And I was planning at first to just see if I could get a hold of a cover, or even just make a cover out of something. That wouldn't be too difficult to do, especially being that the relay itself was good and the contacts looked pretty good once I got them cleaned up. However, when I removed the cover from the second relay, well, it turns out that the plastic, at least part of it around the base there of the relay, was very brittle. And as I was removing the cover off, even, you know, just gently, I noticed a couple of little black pieces of plastic had chipped off, had fallen out of place. In other words, just kind of crumbled from the bottom. And as you can see, the relay is loose now, because the back half of it, the plastic on the back, came off in two chunks, two pieces. So although the relay is technically good, it's going to have to be replaced. And while I'm doing that, being that this one is missing its cover, they should both be replaced, especially after what I went through to gain access to these. I'm going to be honest with you, this is a really, really bad design when it comes to gaining access to these relays. Anybody who's worked on one of these 4300s and had to replace the relays, or at least one relay, knows this. And I'm going to go ahead and start with this. First of all, you can see that the positive terminals here, they extend through the PCB here and are all soldered, you know, in place. And so these all have to be desoldered. You know, these big solder joints here have to be desoldered in order to separate the board from the, you know, from the terminals here. Okay, so since I had to get the board out anyways, I just pulled it all out as a unit, because, you know, the board had to come out. So no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I'm going to go ahead and start panning up here just to kind of point out what was involved in getting the speaker board out so I could get these relays taken care of. There's this, you know, all these wires, this big cluster of wires here that I had to, you know, remove from the speaker board there, the relay board. And, you know, of course, the amp channel had to be removed, the heat sink pushed out of the way. You know, there was just a lot involved in just gaining access good enough so that I could do the job that I need to do. And, you know, relays are something that fail. You know, at the very least, they have to be cleaned. An absolute grunt fest in doing that, just to get to two little relays. So anyways, that's where I am. I have to order the relays, look around, find the relays that I want, and then, you know, again, separate this board and all that. In the meantime, I have to move on to some other stuff. And, you know, the customer wants this unit in kind of a hurry, but that's not going to happen, because it just can't. You know, things come up sometimes with these. I really wasn't anticipating having to change the relays. At least I was hoping. I was really hoping. I was just anticipating, you know, cleaning the one that had the void cover, and you know, same thing with the other one. Just pull the cover off and just clean it out. If it wasn't for that base crumbling the way it did, because that plastic was all brittle for whatever reason, I don't know. But somebody was in here before, because, you know, there was a missing cover. So there it is. I don't know what they were doing, but anyways, so it is what it is. I wasn't anticipating going this far with the relay board, but being that I have to now, I'm gonna have to set it aside while I wait for the relays to come in, and then you know, I got to work on some other stuff, and when I can, I will attack it, because it's not going to be a straightforward just wham bam thank you Sam kind of situation reinstalling them. So anyways, I'm going to stop it here, guys, and get to some other things. I just wanted to give the customer an update, and for those of you who are going to be working on one of these, at some point, if you have to get to the the speaker outs and the relay board and all that stuff, you're going to have your work cut out for you. So again, as I always say, peace, love, music, and the vintage audio that brings it to your ears. Till next time. And when I do come back, I will have this all pieced back together and we'll go into some final testing on it. Take care.
This is a poor man's shoe production.